And welcome back to 1813. We are talking now in the mayoral contest, upcoming one of the big races in the city of Beaumont, coming up not too long. W.L. Pate, longtime city council member, joining us.
Great to be here, Kevin.
Great to see you, man.
May the
Appreciate
1st.
you. May the 1st, won't be long.
April 19th, early voting starts, and we'll be, people can actually put in for absentee balloting if they'd like, or even earlier than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are number one on the ballot.
Well, as a matter of fact, I am, and
you'd like to think you're number one in everyone's heart.
I would like to. I want to be everyone's number one choice.
Yeah, yeah.
And
why are you the best candidate? Is the ultimate question.
Well, one of the things that you always look at, for all 40 plus years I was in recruiting, I always look for the best candidate. What are the characteristics that they had that made them better than the others? And the first thing we always look at is experience. How much experience does that person have?
Right.
So if a person's got 10 years experience and the other one's got 3, doing pretty much a similar job,
right,
which one would you rather have?
Are you alleging what Robin Mouton has been on that council? Are you alleging she doesn't have the requisite?
Oh no, I love Robin. I'm telling you, Robin is a sweetheart. Her dad and I have been friends forever. Just a great family, great person. Robin's been on council 3 terms, and Robin does a great job. She's done a great job for Ward 4. Matter of fact, she had opposition her first year, and then the next 2 years, next 2 terms, pretty much ran unopposed.
Well, maybe she's the best choice for mayor then.
Well, I think she's a great choice for Ward 4. Obviously, she is, because nobody ran against her. And like I said, of all the people that are running for mayor, I like them all. I get along well with all of them. I don't ever take you've known me a long time. I don't take this stuff personally.
Right.
But what I try to do is ask people, when you're looking at who's got the most experience, number one, I've been at large, I've run citywide 7 times. 7 times, sometimes 7 candidates running. And every single time I've been reelected. And the reason I feel like that we were always successful is because I always looked out for the whole city. I didn't look out for Ward 1, 2, 3, or 4, even though I've lived in every single one of those wards. I mean, I started out, my first home here in Beaumont, Texas, wasn't that far from here, on the corner of Live Oak and Magnolia. It's a duplex. It's still there. Matter of fact, the duplex about the size of this room. When I was, for
the whole duplex.
Yeah, the whole duplex. And but that was my mom and my dad and my sweet sister Pat and me growing up there on Magnolia. And so, but I've always reached out to all of the wards. I never voted. My only agenda is Beaumont, Texas. Beaumont's number one with me. And one of the things that we need to do, and I feel like is very important as a mayor, is the ability to lead people and bring them together. And one of the things, as you well know, I'm a retired Army lieutenant colonel. I started out as a private. Went to officer candidate school at Fort Benning, got commissioned in the infantry in 1969. I also picked up branches in transportation, artillery. I was an artillery battery commander. I was the headquarters commandant for the largest reserve unit in the United States of America, the 75th Maneuver Area Command in Houston. We had 600 people in that unit. And you have to be you learn about leadership in the military because that's just part of it.
You're making the argument about leadership and the argument about experience. Beaumont still has problems, although I know you speak very highly of Beaumont, not only in our area, but all around the country. You've spoken very highly about this community, but there are problems. There are drainage issues that need to be solved. There are, some long-standing problems. What do you tell those critics who say, W.L. Pate has been in this office a long time as city council, and we still have those problems, so therefore...
The ladies here really, you can tell what they do is a labor of love. They want people to come in here and feel beautiful and know that they were created beautiful. I go to Jenny to get my hair done at Back to Your Roots Salon, and she gives me the best color and just makes me feel like $1,000,000 when I leave. And they have nail service here. They have a nice little coffee bar in the back, and then Mimi's Market over here, which I'm wearing head to toe because it's just so cute. Because she's already going to make you feel like $1,000,000, and these ladies love on you like nobody's business.
Get the advantage when buying or selling your home by going to the pros, especially in Mid-County. 25 agents.
Hello, this is Sunny with Advantage Real Estate. Can I help you?
Call them at 409-724-1000 or look them up online at AdvantageRealEstateTX.com. That's AdvantageRealEstateTX.com.
That's an excellent point. And if you looked at it from the standpoint of do we have drainage problems? Do we have sewer problems? Do we have issues with water? Let's see. Oh, yeah, and so does every other city in the United States of America, and it's worse outside of the U.S.
Okay, yeah.
But our situation is, and I'm proud of this, when you look at what we've done as far as developing better streets, we have almost 800, right at 800 miles of streets. Now, folks, 800 miles, if you pull out of downtown Beaumont, it says 852, I believe, is the mile marker. That's when you get into New Mexico.
Yeah.
Which basically means the 800 or 840 miles of street would put us in the middle of El Paso.
Yeah. What would be the number one biggest issue if W.L. Pate is to be elected mayor? What would be the one theme that you would immediately go after?
Well, one of the things, we've got to get everybody on the same team. And when I built businesses from zero to multi-million-dollar businesses, have had thousands of employees over the years. And many of them retired out of the positions to which I placed them.
Yeah.
And it's all about building a team and working together. And somebody that's done that, I've done it in the military, I've done it in civilian life, and I'm not the mayor, and I salute the mayor for her 27 years of service.
Were there times you would have done things very differently if you would have had the opportunity to do so?
Well, certainly. That's just it. I mean, we've got 7 members on council, and it's changed since I first got elected. Matter of fact, the only 3 people that are still there are me, the mayor, and Audwin.
Yeah.
None of the people serving on council started when we first got elected in 2007.
Is the city charter constitutional when it argues that political signs cannot be placed out there, at this time period, now, as we speak?
Well, that is a constitutional question, because a lot of people ask, well, WL, why haven't you put your signs out? Well, our city charter says you put out signs March the 2nd. And my attitude is, after this very contentious political season with which we've just finished, the last thing somebody wants to see is, hey, vote for me today. So it said March the 2nd. That's what's on the city ordinance. There are other people that said, well, it violates free speech, and there's a whole lot of people putting out signs. That's their prerogative. As far as I'm concerned, we had a city ordinance.
Is that against the rules? That's the rules of the city, though, to put them out in advance of March 2nd.
Well, it's one of those situations of it's a constitutional question of free speech. Can the city actually tell candidates that they can't?
Okay.
Well, my attitude is it's not whether it's constitutional, because if it's you've got free speech, so you could put a sign. I'm sure you can put a sign out whenever you want to for whatever you want to do it, as long as it doesn't violate something else. As far as political signs, but as far as I was concerned, March the 2nd was soon enough for me to start talking to people about a race May the 1st. That's 60 days. That's 2 months. And, you know, if I have to put a sign out on February 25th to get a vote, and the city ordinance says
time.
March the 2nd, I go, look, signs, people can do whatever they want to do with signs, but signs aren't voters. And my attitude is the city ordinance said it, I'm going to do it. If other people don't want to do it, that's okay with me.
Okay.
But my approach is going to be, I'm going to talk to them one-on-one and say, look, here's why I think I'll be the best mayor. And my question is always going to be, who's number one in leadership ability? Who's number one in community service? Who's been serving the community the longest?
Okay.
I went in the Army when I was 18 years old as a private. And I was fortunate enough to have great parents that told me, WL, it's about giving back. It's not about taking. You know, what can you do to make the world a better place? And you know, when I had my talk show on the radio for several years, I would always tell my listeners, your mission in life is to make the world a better place than the world you found when you got here.
So how do you resolve that and build that consensus that you talked about earlier?
Well, you know, Robin is the only other candidate that's actually been elected to an office, a city office in Ward 4.
Right.
And like I said, I love Robin. All the other candidates, they're great people. Get along fine with them. But my attitude was, and I've talked to many of them before this, I said, I started as a private, retired as a colonel. I didn't go in as a colonel.
Right.
You know, most people try to work their way up in a system, learn how it works. I mean, my good friend Randy Felshaw, who's running at large, you know, Randy has said several times, he said, you know, we ought to seriously take a look, and we are, about the possibility of having 3-year terms, because it takes you a couple of years to figure out how all this stuff works.
What do you make of term limits? What do you believe?
Well, here's the thing. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's a good idea. And quite honestly, when I first got elected, I had people ask me to run for mayor. And I told them, I said, look, I don't think I need to run for mayor at this point in time. I don't have the experience to be the mayor. Now, I had a whole lot of civilian and military experience, but I didn't know anything about city council.
If elected, would you support term limits? Would you?
I think that I absolutely think it's something that we need to look at. What we're looking at right now is possibly 3-year terms, 2 3-year terms, unless you got elected to another office, different from the first one.
Okay.
But if, you know, when Becky first got
But
elected.
looking at it and a commitment to do it are two different
No,
things.
no. I think it's a great idea. Matter of fact, I've told people, I said, I'm 2 terms. If I get elected mayor,
3-year terms.
if I get elected mayor under the 2-year, the max I'm staying is 2 terms. That's it.
Gotcha.
I might just stay 1 if we can accomplish a lot of the things I
And
want.
what are the biggies there?
Well, again, a lot of it has to do with focusing on what the people are, of which they're concerned. Now, we're in the middle of COVID. Still.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to get through this. I take it very seriously.
Yes.
You know, for obvious reasons. My sister Pat passed away on Christmas Eve, and you knew Pat.
Yes.
Sweetest person
Dear
ever.
woman, yes.
With complications from COVID. My 2 daughters had it. Their mother had it. My brother and his wife had it.
And it's still an issue.
And it's still an issue. Our focus needs to, and I've had both vaccines. I take it seriously. And but one of the things that we need to do is make sure that everybody can get a vaccine that wants a vaccine. To me, that's a priority. And I know we're starting to get some of those vaccines in, but that's an important priority. If somebody won't even go out because they're afraid of COVID, and a lot of people are.
Yeah.
They literally. And the sad part about that, and that's why the vaccines are so important, the sooner everybody can have those, the sooner we can get to the point where people can get out of the house. Suicides have gone up. Medications for depression have increased astronomically.
Yeah.
There's so many other effects from COVID that of people that are suffering from things that aren't COVID. It's depression, it's suicide, and that's really serious.
Would you argue that drainage is a major issue in the
Oh,
city of,
absolutely.
Beaumont?
Listen, I am so glad you brought that up. When we were fortunate enough to hit natural resources underneath our municipal airport, we had like $52 million. We had to change the laws in Washington, D.C. to allow us to use those funds for transportation issues in Beaumont rather than spending $52 million on a municipal airport, which it's landlocked.
Right.
We couldn't even spend $52 million out there.
Okay.
And I want to tell you a little shout out to my friend Chris Moe, does a great job out there and has really increased the usage. He's got people waiting for T-hangers. We have a great municipal airport. But the point is, we took $33 million of that $52 million and did Washington Boulevard, which is in Ward 4. We resurfaced Magnolia, which is in Ward 3. I mean, we've done a whole lot of things with that money.
Gotcha.
And every single time that we basically rebuild the street like we did Washington, we're putting sewer in right next and drainage with that, so that's going to improve.
Smart way to do it.
With Calder, after Hurricane Ike, we put, and that was the largest FEMA expenditures, and that was while I was on council, and we voted for it and we supported it. And you'll notice the utilities are underground, because that was also one of the things that I was pushing for. That took thousands of homes out of the floodplain. So there's a lot of things that have transpired that, a lot of people turn on the television, and today, what's the issue today? But the bottom line is, where were we 14 years ago?
And where are we now?
And where are we now? And also look at the fact that Beaumont, we have so much to offer. And the best thing we can do for Beaumont is to work on economic development. And who better to do that than someone who has started his own and built his own businesses and has several now, who has a graduate degree in economics, who understands what you got to do to make people want to come.
I hear you. Is there a change in W.L. Pate today from even just a couple of years ago? You've been very public about, and you didn't say a lot in a melodramatic way, but you had a bit of a health scare. You were public about that. Is W.L. Pate a little bit different today than he was in the past?
Well, I wake up every day, Kevin, and say, thank you, Lord, for another day. And help me be the person that you want me to be, Lord, not the person that I would be inclined to be without you. And that's how I start every single day. And I wake up thinking, what can I do to make the world better? Now, a lot of people think altruistic is a fat trumpet player from New Orleans. He's not. But I had parents that taught me that it's about giving back. And I said that earlier. So how can we make Beaumont better? My agenda's always been, how do we make Beaumont better? And what I would ask people, if you're trying to say, differentiate, well, you voted this way or you voted that way, if you look at all the votes across city council in the last 14 years, I can tell you that 97+% of the time, we're unanimous. There are some contentious situations
Issues.
that develop and have, and there's some problems from time to time between council members.
Are there personality? Yes, and that was where I was going. Are there personality problems that you could solve as mayor?
Well, here's the thing. When you've been a commander in the military, it's a whole lot more serious if things aren't working together than it is showing up on Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
I mean, it just is.
Gotcha.
And so my leadership approach has always been, Kevin, if you got a problem with Bob, let's come in the office, Kevin. Bob, we got to work this out.
Figure it out.
I don't care what you guys do on Saturday night. You can have a cage match at the Civic Center. But when you plant yourself in City Hall at 1:30 on Tuesday, we're going to act like gentlemen the whole time. Or ladies. I mean,
Gotcha.
it's I'm equal opportunity.
Great points. I appreciate
You know.
that. Thank you so much, W.L. Pate, for your time to 1813 and to the citizens of Beaumont as we talk about this question of the mayor's race. We will, of course, be having several stories in our series with mayoral candidates. And again, just thanks very much.
Kevin, I appreciate you
Yeah.
doing a great job. May 1st,
May
election.
1st.
April 19th, early voting.
Yes.
And if you're not sure, always go with number 1.
I was going to say, and what name should they go with?
It says W.L. Pate right next to it.
Thanks for your time. We'll see you next time.